come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy. The winter and rough weather.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh yes, I heard them, and more too.
But didst thou hear them without wondering how thy name came to be carved and painted upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of the wonder before I came here. But look here what I found on a palm tree. I was never so berhymed since Pythagoras' time.
Show you who has done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck. Changing color?
I prithee who?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee thee now with most petitionary vehemence. Tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful. And yet again wonderful, and after that, out of all wounding.
Good my complexion, dost thou think, though I am comparison like a man, that I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? Tell me who it is, quickly, and speak apace.
It is young Orlando who tripped up the hunter's heels and your heart both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking, speak, and brow, and true maid.
Faith, cuz, 'tis he.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Alas the day, what shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou saw'st him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? And when shalt thou see him again? Doth he know that I am in this forest and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
It's easy to count enemies as to resolve the propositions of a lover, but take a taste of my finding him, and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree, when it drops forth with such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Though it be pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
Cry hollow to thy tongue, for it curveys unreasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous, he comes to kill my heart.
I sing my song without burden, but thou bringest me out of tune.
Do you not know I am a woman? When think I must speak, sweet, stay on.
Bring me out. Soft, comes he not here?
'Tis he, slink by and note him.
I thank you for your company, but, good faith, I had as lief have been myself alone.
And so had I, but yet, for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
God be with you. Let us meet as little as possible.
I do desire we be better strangers.
I pray you, mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you, mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favourably.
Rosalind is your love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You are full of pretty answers. Have you not been acquainted with goldsmiths' wives and conned them out of rings?
Not so, but I answer you bright painted cloth, from whence you have studied your questions.
You have a nimble wit. Will you not sit down with me? And we two will rail against our mistress the world and all our misery.
I will chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault that will not change for your best virtue. I am weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
He is drowned in the brook. Look but in, and you shall see him.
There I shall see mine own figure.
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I'm glad of your departure. Adieu, goodman Sir Melancholy.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey and play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forester?
Very well, what would you?
What is it, a clock?
There's no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest. Else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time, as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had that not been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time acts at diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time stands withal, who time ambles withal, who time gallops withal, and who he stands withal.
I prithee, who doth time trot withal?
He trots with a fine young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout, for one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With the thief to the gallows, for though he goes softly, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers, for they sleep between term and term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Well, you pretty youth.
Here in the skirts of the forest,
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase or remove to dwell in.
an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, one that knew courtship too well, for he fell in love there. I thank God I'm not a woman, for to be touched with so many giddy offences as he hath, have generally taxed the whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid charge of woman?
There were none principal, they were all like one another, every one fault seeming monstrous, till his fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee recount some of them.
No, I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There's a man that haunts the forest, that abuses our young plants with carving, rosalind in their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns, and elegies on brambles. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaped. I pray you tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's mark upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you were not prisoner.
What were his marks?
An unquestionable spirit, which you have not, a beard neglected, which you have not. Your hose should be ungartered, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, loving yourself, than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it? You may as soon make her that you love believe it, which I warrant she's apter to do than to confess she does. But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verse on the trees?
I swear to thee, youth, by what white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But you are so much in love as your rhymes speak.
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and the reason why they are not punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this matter. He was so imagined me his love, his mistress, and I sent him every day to woo me. At which time would I, being but a moonish youth, be effeminate, changeable, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, would now like him, now loathe him, now weep for him, then spit at him, that I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, to live in a nook, merely monastic, and thus I cured him.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you, but if you would call me Rosalind, and come every day to my cote and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Now tell me where it is.
Go with me, and I'll show it to you.
By my good heart, youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Is it a man?
See, I can't do this.
Start over. Start over.
Change the best shall see him.
There are.
Then there is no true
Dan,
lover.
Whenever you're ready.
There is no true lover.
Dan.
Okay.
So useful. That's right.
Try again.
Oh, the whole line's cut out?
Yeah.